Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support.
Asheville, Myrtle Beach, Savannah, Chattanooga should be mostly dry for most of your weekend. It's not until we get into early Monday that we start to see that building into places like Atlanta, really taking hold in Asheville, stretching up through the Western Carolinas throughout your day Monday. And then Tuesday, we see this filling in farther through the southeast and kind of sticking around. We're going to be stuck in a little bit of a messy pattern across the extreme southeast as we get to Tuesday because that front's standing there and not really going anywhere. You can see where we're seeing the highest amounts here across portions of Alabama up through middle Tennessee, even up into southern portions of Kentucky. So we are looking at kind of a change in the patterns from what we've been seeing, Alex, and it's not just there. We've been so warm across portions of the Midwest. Once this front finally moves through, it's going to bring some changes, but we got to deal with the rain and the cloudy weather and all that first.
Before the good, we have to deal with the bad.
There you go. Right? Call fall or nah. I'd say a lot of us are getting the nah right now. Let's talk about it. So the temperatures right now, I would call this fall-ish. Now, it should be a little bit cooler, but fall-ish where you're seeing 49 in Binghamton, 50 in Burlington. It's not hot, at least, so you can kind of feel that fall in the air. 58 in NYC, 62 in DC this morning, which is actually just a very nice, crisp morning. But as we look at the temperatures across the middle part of the country, everywhere you're seeing that yellow, typically you think yellow and orange and you're like, fall. That's not what it's indicating here on the map. It's indicating more like summer. It's 67 in Omaha, 70 in St. Louis, 72 in Jackson right now. OKC, you're at 69 degrees. So here's the setup. We've kind of got this blocking pattern that we've been talking about still hanging out here. Cool air in the dips in the jet stream. That's why the Northeast is feeling nice and cool and fall-like. Warm air encompassing that ridge or that dome in the jet stream, and that is why we're seeing the temperatures like we're seeing. So where is fall? I'd say fall is not in Nashville, not in St. Louis. Minneapolis, the forecast for you today in the lower 80s. You should be in the lower 60s this time of year. Dallas, 90. What are you doing? That's not fall-like at all. Tomorrow, again, we do see a little bit of a cool down for places as you look farther west, but most of us that are dealing with the heat today will be dealing with it tomorrow as well. Alex.
Well, big matchups.
We have a setup that's lending itself to some really warm air hanging around, especially as you look through the middle parts of the country.
Yeah, that's the case here for us. We saw earlier in the week temperatures that got up into the mid-90s across the northern plains. It's come down a bit in those areas, but you can clearly see the colors, the warmer colors showing up where we've got 70 right now in a spot like Des Moines. You head into the northeast, some cooler times here for us. That's where we're finding some temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Even though slightly still a little bit above average, we have cooled down a bit here in this part of the world.
I would say 49 is feeling fallish.
Yeah,
you know, you're not sweating. It's not hot. It might not be where you're usually expecting to be, but it's certainly not the 73 degrees in Jackson or the 70 in St. Louis. These are the temperatures right now. The temperature that's in Minneapolis right now for your morning, that should be typically what you're having during the afternoon.
Right. So yeah, lots of warmth with that big ridge that's there in the middle of the country here for you. So that's bulging way up into a Canada here. And within that ridge or underneath that ridge, that's where we're going to find some of the warmest conditions. So that puts us into the mid-80s in a spot like St. Louis. Same for you as you head down towards Nashville, 86 degrees and not too far behind there for you. Atlanta, 85 for your afternoon high.
Definitely a warm time. The only place where it's feeling kind of moderate today, Jackson, where you actually get some rain, but by tomorrow, upper 80s there in Jackson, Mississippi. It's going to be a steamy one. October, I know it's usually, you know, we're thinking fall, but October is a notable month for the tropics, and you can see where we generally see the areas of development here a lot closer to home, especially in the Gulf and the Western Atlantic.
Yeah, so we have to watch those areas very, very closely here for you. You can see when we talk about the month of October and just the state of Florida since 1950, I mean, all those lines represent a different landfalling storm, 23 in total.
And where you're seeing the reds and the pinks, those are significant major hurricanes. So we're not just talking about little weak systems. We're talking about some major hurricanes. Some of those notable storms in October, of course, number one on the list is Mitch in 1998, more than 11,000 deaths. You hate to see that.
Most recent, that was Michael back in 2018, $25 billion in damage, 59 deaths as well. So you imagine here, if I'm not mistaken, all of these names have been retired.
Yeah, Matthew in 2016, I remember that one very vividly, working actually in South Florida, and it just being such a close call until it was very, very impactful, you know, across many places. So, you know, October is not a month that we can let our guard down. So here is Sam, there is Victor, both of them not posing any immediate threats to land. But because Sam is so strong, we do have that tropical storm watch out for Bermuda.
Yeah, that's right. So this thing's now marching off towards the northwest, right now at about 12 miles per hour. And you can see where it is in relation to the Lesser Antilles, again, well north of that. So that is, again, some really, really good news. Should continue to make that northward jog and turn here and eventually move off towards the north and the east. There's Bermuda, and there you can see the tracker and the path here taking it east of that, at least the center moving east of that. But again, could get a glancing blow, and as you mentioned, there's a tropical storm watch for Bermuda.
Yeah, and regardless, you know, I know a lot of people are trying to soak up that last little bit of maybe some warmth and head to the beach along the eastern seaboard. We are going to have big swells from a storm this strong out in the Atlantic, so keep that in mind. The waters are going to be rough up and down those eastern seaboard beaches. Victor, a tropical storm, 45-mile-per-hour winds, about 550 miles south-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Quick look at the forecast on that one. You can see it going up through the tropical Atlantic. It will, though, it is forecast to reach hurricane strength.
Yeah, at least briefly, and then moving slowly, moving northbound and seeing those wind speeds come down. All right, let's